Get things started, you want me to?
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to coming to our November SAC meeting here at Endeavor. I would like to motion this meeting to order, or motion to call the meeting to order.
Second.
Is that it?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
Perfect.
All right. So everybody, thank you all so much for joining us this morning, because as we tabled at the end of the meeting last week, we would be able to be discussing the school recognition portion of the bylaws that we are going to be voting on today. Once again, everybody is able to come and attend these meetings, listen to what is being involved here at the school, what it all is going on. So, but for the sake of today, just when it comes time to vote at the end to either approve or deny our bylaws, it will only be our parent, community, and staff members who are on the school advisory board. So, there is that. So, moving on in the agenda, we are gonna do an approval of our meeting minutes. So, Ms. Bletchinger, could you sum up our October meeting for us?
Yes, good morning to all. We went over we looked at the bylaws, for Endeavor and the district bylaws, so we compared them. Mr. Navis explained both bylaws documents. Our school doesn't have a set plan, very little guidance. The district does not have specific bylaws, but you can modify and tweak them. There were some proposed changes. Do you want me to go in depth on them?
Yes, the
Yes.
proposed change, yes.
So we were organized by tables, tourist table, Anna, questioned the duties of SAC. Point number 8, process for that assist portion of it. On the back corner where Blair was, Ms. Blair's group was satisfied with the bylaws as they were. She mentioned that everybody has a voice. Mr. Bench, which was this table, proposed that we revise Article 5.4, secret ballot, based on what type of ballot would be most effective. Ms. Torres was okay with the proposition, but she proposes having a vote prior to voting. Mr. Nappes mentioned that we remove Article 5, Bullet 4, and add the following. By default, ballots would be secret unless proposed and passed by the majority of the members present. Mr. Bench should second the motion. Mrs. Torres mentioned that we don't have to follow the district's document. She proposed that we continue using the SAC committee to propose how they spend the recognition money. Mr. Nappes motioned that Ms. Torres and himself will create a proposal and present in the November's meeting, and Mr. Bench seconded the motion. We went over the school improvement plan. We talked over the community involvement, school-wide events, the PTA update, and what was coming next. And that was it.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Perfect.
Amazing. All right, continuing on in the agenda, we are going to be continuing the discussion about the school recognition fund portion of the bylaws. As you all came in, you received a stapled piece of paper of included jargon from the district, as well as you can see what is highlighted is what Mr. Nappins and I have collaborated on to present to you all today. Based on our discussion last week, we are including that the SAC subcommittee can include the FAC if agreed upon, like we all agreed last week, but we're still gonna amend and everything today. So if you could, you guys can see in the paper, there is the highlighted pieces that we did add, but we're gonna give everybody about 10 minutes to look over this, read through the wording, and that way we can have a discussion afterwards because it is quite meaty. So we are going to set a timer for 10 minutes so everybody can read.
Who wants to be our timekeeper? Perfect, all right.
All right, so 10 minutes to go ahead and read through the article, everybody, and we'll begin.
There's the email.
Five minutes.
Everything but the name.
Because I'm removing the
Yeah.
names, but I'm gonna have it.
Right, so you know who answered and who didn't at some point in life.
He also said it's on the computer so you can read everything,
Yeah.
because I'm not gonna print it out. So people can see it and see
Yep.
down
Yep.
their eyes what they need to see.
And you sure fit okay?
I haven't tried it yet. But I know it will.
Man, so much love. You on your
I will be wearing it.
So, yeah.
No. I just left it on mine so I can know who I had. Right.
3 minutes.
You have
You got about 3 minutes. You got about 3 minutes.
Don't worry about it.
Maybe we need 1 minute?
So ours collects anything that I was just like, I didn't know who did it. Not that I care what he said, because I don't even look at whose name is attached to what I know, I just look at what names pop in any particular thing. I made like 3 copies last night, cause I was like, I had to keep myself in a brain space to like know who did what where.
This is the
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're ready. Anybody else need a couple more minutes? Are we good? We're ready to move forward?
Awesome. All right. So I know that was a lot for everybody to read, but do we have any questions, comments, items you want to bring up about the jargon that was provided by both the district and modified by myself and Mr. Nappens. Ms. Chillard?
In paragraph 4, the word could, would will be a better word to put into there.
Can you-
That's one question.
Can you tell us where you're at, Chillards?
Paragraph 4,
The highlighted
the
section.
highlighted section.
The SAC subcommittee could be comprised by the current year's FAC, and if mutually agreed upon, but she's approving we amend it to where the SAC subcommittee will be comprised by the current year's faculty advisor committee if agreed upon.
Yeah, what, I don't see a giant concern, I'm just curious, like, talk to us about the purpose.
Could to me just sounds flexible, will sounds more permanent. That's how I understand the wording.
And it goes to mutually, as long as, and it still says if mutually agreed upon, so. Anybody have,
I'm
Okay,
just,
so-
I know I'm not like a member, but I just have a question.
Yeah.
So when you're saying like, to me, when you change it to the other word, it's like, that's the only people that can be it, so nobody else can be on it, is that what you're saying? When you change that, as a faculty?
Can I pull back really quick? So that's a good question. So listen, so everybody kind of has some context to this, right? So Torres and I went through this, we've been through this a couple times and had really good conversations about it. Like the purpose of like creating a document here, and a lot of this comes from the district language, right? So we just changed a few pieces, but like our goal was to create like the most equitable process that like has all stakeholders have a voice, right? Because this process has a tendency to be very ugly, and we don't want that, right? Like the ultimate goal is that this process doesn't create any type of contention amongst the staff. We also talked about like there'll be a day that I'm not here, there'll be a day that some of you aren't here, right? And so like the goal is to create a process that's as like fluid as possible, right? And that does have like, you know, we talked about contract language, and it is open for like a level of subjectivity, because like there may be times when relationships aren't good, right? And that we want to make sure that all voices are being heard. So when I hear could, it means that it doesn't necessarily have to be FAC. It could be a SAC subcommittee. But in this case, because of where we're at, we feel like the FAC as a strong presence in our school, an effective group, that like that's why they're listed there. So I think could means, yeah, it could be, but next year maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe it would. Maybe FAC has no interest in being there. Or maybe there's a different faculty advisory council, and it would be a SAC subcommittee. It would be a subcommittee of the people who are in here.
What if it was can be? It can be if mutually agreed upon. If it's not mutually agreed upon, then it de facto rolls back to it's the SAC.
And I think my thing was because we did rely so heavily on fact, I guess I kind of have more of a positive in my head, so that's why the could to me was kind of like, if we already kind of have stepped forward in saying that fact, that was just.
Yeah.
and I could see how could, like Ms. Chiller said, it could open up the door of possibilities instead of being firm, especially because in the FAC handbook from the teachers union, it does state a bunch of rules in there about when and how and who is creating the FAC. And when it's opened with could, it does create like a variability level of somebody could hop onto it, even though legally it can't be, if that makes sense. I don't know how to word that.
But could they hop on the subcommittee, but not hop on the FAC committee? See what I'm saying? Like if they want, like say there's somebody on SAC that isn't on FAC, that wants to be a part of this subcommittee. If you say it's only the FAC, then that person is excluded from being a part of that, if they're a SAC member, right?
Correct.
It's a subcommittee. So that person would be excluded.
But they are, with the other parts that are built in, that is the checks and balance system where they are getting their say and they are able to turn down something that the FAC has suggested. They do have that opportunity there. So it's, instead of being on both, it's on one or the other.
One or the other.
Yeah,
I was just asking for.
Yeah.
Whatever brings world peace to this.
Yes.
Because we have been in a situation before where it was not peaceful.
Oh, I've been in other schools
So,
where it's not.
whatever brings world peace.
I do like Mr. Julier's suggestion of can, that way could isn't as flexible, but will is not as determinative, can is a happy medium.
Do we hear a motion for can?
Motion to switch to Ken.
Second,
I'm gonna vote, we'll do a formal vote, all voting members in favor?
Of can?
Yep, alright, perfect, yeah, that's you.
it passes, all right. Can has been amended into the proposal.
So I have one also for the same exact block.
Yes.
Do we need to specify the number that the subcommittee can be, parameters? Or could somebody say it's in of unlimited size, you know? Is there a requirement that we would need to add something in there just to, again,
Keep it smaller.
keep it smaller? Or if there's a minimum you would need? You know, could a subcommittee be one person? That would be my fear, or 50 people.
Yeah. So the principal will facilitate the creation of the SAC subcommittee. All right, so it would have to go in after SAC. Creating of the SAC subcommittee to include, the principal will facilitate the creation of the SAC subcommittee to include, say,
Could be comprised, something comprising of a minimum of 3 members with, but not to exceed, what do you think is the high end? I trust you guys in this, what would be a pro?
I'm sorry.
The same block.
Same
four,
block.
Where it said, yeah, the
Paragraph
SAC
4.
subcommittee could be comprised, or can be, I was saying, you don't specify the number.
Okay.
So what if one day somebody shaped it to either there was one person, or it was an unruly amount? So, I default to you guys to know what would a proper size for a subcommittee be.
Well, how many people are on FAC right now?
FAC right now are 7, 8,
I think it went down to
7. Yeah, it's up to 7 right now, so 3 to 7.
Or do you wanna, cause FAC can go up to what, technically?
FAC can go up to 11. So it could be 3
So
to,
a minimum of
11.
3 and no more than 11.
yeah.
I mean, if you guys, I mean, with all due respect, if you feel like it's absolutely necessary to have, specific parameters there,
Or maybe at least just put the minimum.
I'm just trying to put guardrails in for the day when you said you're not here or
yeah,
somebody else.
yeah.
So it could be, to be comprised of.
Maybe you have just maybe you'd set a minimum, right? That way you're right,
comprised
so
of
you.
a minimum of 3 people to facilitate the school recognition program cycles. Okay. So, based off what Mr. Julier said, this is, the second sentence, it's all that's highlighted. The SAC subcommittee can be comprised by the current year's faculty advisory committee if mutually agreed upon. In the absence of an agreement, the principal will facilitate the creation of the SAC subcommittee to be comprised of a minimum of 3 people to facilitate the school recognition program voting process.
So we're talking about 2 amendments, can and.
Yes, so this would be a second amendment to the wording.
Got it. Minimum of what?
To be comprised of a minimum of 3 people, and that is after subcommittee, to facilitate the school recognition program voting process. And if I need to read that full sentence again, I will. Does anybody need that full sentence again?
And that's in lieu of the fact.
In lieu of the FAC. motion?
Yes, I motion to add the language to have a minimum number of members.
Is there a second?
Second.
And it goes. Awesome. Alright. Any other, yes,
One more. Number 6,
yes, second page.
yeah, number A, this is a question. You say all attendee stakeholders will have the opportunity to review the 3 preliminary proposals.
Yes,
In the section above J, you give a hypothetical situation where there could be 4.
correct.
So do you need to change that from 3 to just say final?
To
Or 3 or
review the,
final proposals?
or it could just be remove the preliminary proposals. We
Yes.
can,
Yeah, because I thought we took 3 out.
yeah, that might have been one that we had missed.
Because you could have 3 or 4, that's what.
Yep,
Yeah. So some of the language suggested that only 3 proposals would be brought to SAC, but then we, Torres and I discussed that, like, that might
it might put too much power into the FAC.
Yeah.
We would rather it
limit the
be
scope.
more,
Yeah.
more open to include, so yes. So you are proposing to amend Article 6, subpoint A, to remove the 3.
Just review proposals, right?
Yes.
So it now states all attending stakeholders will have the opportunity to review the preliminary proposals for the allocation of the school recognition program.
Yeah. So I propose to remove the number 3 from the number of preliminary proposals.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second, awesome, so 3 has been removed.
Any other questions or concerns about the, like this 3-page document is the amendment to the current bylaws. Our current bylaws are only 3 pages, but, you know, the rationale behind all this when we talked is that, like, the idea is that we have a very defined process for doing this because, there was not a defined process. And I know that, you know, the CTA and FAC, they really supported this in the past, and, so the district, I think, is probably seen that, like, in certain cases, this has created levels of, like, contention amongst the staff. So our goal is to avoid that, right? We wanna create an equitable process that has all voices involved, and that anybody who has, input is available to offer input, so.
And then Ms. Chiller had one more point.
Yeah,
In, Article 5, the end of the first line there where it says 7 days, could we possibly do 5, considering the timing we have? 5 days should be enough to kind of get that part done and not push it over into another week.
So that way it's composed of a full working week for faculty and staff at school, like essentially a Monday through Friday.
What's our proposal?
It's on the first page,
Yeah.
Article 5.
Yeah.
Each SAC subcommittee and or principal will advertise for at least 7 days.
Got it.
Ms. Chiller is proposing that we have it advertised for at least 5 days, especially because there is the February 1st deadline by the state.
And does it matter saying like work weekdays or?
That's what I was gonna say.
Because somebody could try to bury it over a long weekend, just hypothetically.
I like it though, I like what you
You know?
said.
Alright,
5
for at
business
least
days.
5 business days.
Sorry, I'm from New York. I'm used to like trying to protect us from these.
No, I was thinking the same thing, it needs to say 5
School days.
Yes.
school days
days?
or working days.
Let's do
or-
school days, cause if it's business days and it happens over December,
Yeah.
the break.
You could post it over the Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
well,
no.
we got one vote. We won.
Because we're gonna be, go ahead,
We are gonna be on a
Yeah.
time crunch, because school grades have not been released, so this is all still very hypothetical, but we wanna ensure everybody at Endeavor is taken care of, who works here, no matter what title they have.
And can I just add one clarification? So we added, section 5, subsection I, all the way at the bottom of the first page, where it says a list of all eligible instructional personnel, administrative personnel, and educational support employees shall be provided. So I'll provide that list during the December meeting, when we talk about, when the subcommittee, which is FAC, brings a proposal to SAC, the preliminary proposals to SAC. That way SAC knows everybody who is eligible. So, and Torres brought up a good point yesterday, we're talking, it's not just our current employees, but it's the people who potentially could have been here last year too, right? Who are also eligible according to the Sunshine Law, so. Okay?
So do you wanna make a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion
Yes.
to have it changed from 7 to 5 school days.
Second.
Yep.
At
I don't think
least
we have any
5
nays.
days. To review and then I took 3 out of there.
Share with it, share with it.
All right, do we feel good?
Yes,
There-
thank you both for doing that.
Of course, no, thank you for pointing that out.
All right, so if we don't have anything else, I'm gonna motion, oh, okay,
Go.
I also have it written down for you.
yeah.
I have the wording for you.
No, go.
So I don't know if this is the most legit motion, but I'm gonna try it anyways. So I'm gonna motion to approve the amendment to the SAC bylaws, basically the document that we've outlined today, adding that to the current Endeavor SAC bylaws.
I second.
So now we do have to put this to an official vote for all voting members. So, all in favor of adding Article 9 School Recognition Program as we stated here on our paper today, please show of hands. And it passes unanimously. Thank you, everybody. Which means now the Faculty Advisory Committee from Endeavor is going to continue taking input from all current staff, because it does not matter if they were here at Endeavor last year. According to our bylaws, it's all current staff has a say in this process, in the proposals. So FAC is beginning to take in requests now, kind of feeling what everybody wants before they meet, which they will then, based off here, come up with proposals based off the interest of the staff who submitted their proposals, and then they will come to the December 20th, that is our next SAC meeting, Wednesday, December 20th, present the proposals. So please make sure, if you're a voting member, you are here at the December 20th meeting. Woo! And continuing on, just to give everybody an update about the school improvement plan, small group instruction is still being a huge target here at Endeavor Elementary School. In addition to working on small groups, administration and leadership team members have been working to compile tutoring lists for students who are showing a deficiency in, I believe, math?
Math now, yep.
A deficiency in math this year. So on 11/16, the first round of tutoring had ended, and then the next round of tutoring did begin yesterday. And it will continue on Tuesdays and Thursdays to help get our proficiency growth in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade for our navigators. So tutoring will continue Tuesday, Thursdays until December 21st, before we head on to our holiday break. And she is in this room today, Miss Grogan, doing measurement in her class using small groups and creating manipulatives for her students. So just wanted to show our community members that we are working hard to make sure we are trying to hit these growth goals. Continuing on in our school improvement plan, the second growth goal was professional learning communities, utilizing those PLCs throughout the month of November. We did continue having our weekly PLCs with our faculty, Thursdays with science, Friday doing data analysis with Mr. Mack and Mrs. Mann, math PLCs, ELA PLCs, all working together to ensure our students are working hard, learning, and being prepared for what's coming up, because we do have state testing beginning next week, with FAST beginning with our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. Community school-wide events, very busy month of November between Red Ribbon Week, the book fair, book character parade with some great photos up for everybody to see. Unity Week, where we celebrated our 5 houses supporting one another, lifting one another up. 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade did a write score, which was practicing their writing skills so that teachers and our school can see the data of how students are doing with writing, because I believe our writing test is back this year,
It is back, but it's
slightly different.
It's not gonna be scored.
But we do want to make sure our navigators are able to not only read, do math, we do want to ensure they can write. We did have our fall conference week where families had a chance to come into Endeavor either before school, during planning times with teachers, or after school, just to get progress update on their navigators. 1st grade went to the Orlando Shakes, saw an amazing performance. 5th grade went to SeaWorld, and we had our annual fall festival provided by our PTA. In addition, after our last SAC meeting, we did meet with our school board member, Mrs. Ferrant, for the 30% design meeting that takes place, as Endeavor is going under a full renovation beginning June 2024 until August 2026. So I highly encourage, there is gonna be another 100% design meeting where, based off what we heard, we're gonna need as many families there as possible to voice their opinions, especially since it was discussed that they are downsizing the art room, the music room, and the playground. So it was a concern brought up by family members that the common areas where kids actually have space to move, play, be kids, and enjoy are being smaller. So we do highly encourage, once we get a date, we will be posting that so we can have more people attend. Yes, Ms. Kazar.
I'm not 100%, but I think there will be a 60% meeting before the 100%.
Perfect. So as soon as we know those dates, we will be advertising them to the community, because you all have an interest in our school. We want to make sure that that interest and love continues even after you're gone.
Did you say it was art, music, and the playground?
All getting downsized.
Okay.
Yes. So we asked a lot of challenging questions, and they are bringing it back to the district. So we will see in the next meeting what the compromise was, what they're coming back with, but also we get a voice as community members to let everybody know what we want done with our school, because it is our school and it is our community school, and we want to make sure all of our students who are zoned for our community school and those who transfer to us, they are in a safe and lovable place where kids can enjoy learning.
Taurus, can I say one thing real quick?
Yes.
So that meeting, we had like a legit like skeleton crew. There were probably, put out like maybe 15 people total at the meeting.
Mhm.
Most of them are staff members. I was very thankful for that. And the staff members who were present did a fantastic job of like voicing their concern. But like the design meeting is out, like they took a lot of feedback. And they assured us that as a school that we have input as to what the design is going to look like. Our school board member, I can tell, she seemed to be very passionate about preserving specifically the special area space. Like their rationale behind like the playground was like they're gonna get rid of all the old equipment and bring in newer equipment, but like not
Smaller.
as much of it, and so thus minimizing it. So man, I would say that, you know, as the day draws near, like we really, you know, create a group of, you know, ralliers. So it's important. But the people who are there did a fantastic job. So grow good.
PTA update, there was an amazing pajama day that was a huge hit. Fall festival, it was so great seeing so many of our navigators, not only current navigators, but older navigators who have since left Endeavor coming back, visiting their home school, which is why it's important we continue to take care of it, voice our opinions on it, because they do want to come back because they love seeing their teachers, families, and schools. PTA does have their holiday shop coming up, and they are going to need volunteers for that, not only setting up, tearing down, but also throughout the day, helping students shop, helping students with money, being able to be in there and help students check out. But they do need volunteers to help our students being able to pick out items based off what their families have been sending in. So any help would be appreciated. Be sure to reach out to PTA either on Dojo, email them, or if you come to a SAC meeting, Ms. Shea is here. She's on PTA, she's on our board, and you can also ask her any questions that you have. Anything else from PTA?
No.
Fall festival is awesome. Like Trunk or Treat was amazing. Fall festival was a great follow up. It was fantastic.
What's next? Beginning next week, testing. Tuesday, Thursdays for the next 2 weeks are going to be comprised of fast testing in both reading and math. So please make sure your navigators are on time. It is very imperative that they get their full testing block, and they will not be able to test if they show up in the middle of testing. So please make sure that they are on time. Next Wednesday, embellishment concert, 6 p.m. in the cafeteria. If anybody wants to come support our navigators who've been working hard. Next Thursday, the 7th, is picture retake day. I might have messed up those dates on testing. I will verify that with Ms. Zupa to make sure that they are correct when they are up there. So I apologize if there is a minor change that I will fix in the slideshow. 4th grade's going on their annual field trip to St. Augustine next Friday. If you want to do something really fun on Saturday, the 9th, the annual Fezziwig Festival is taking place on Fridays and Saturdays in Village Park, which is the park located behind Ale House near Cold Stone Creamery in Hunters Creek. They have vendors, booths, but also live performances, which will include our embellishments at 5:45 p.m. The PTA Holiday Shop is going to be from December 11th through December 15th, which we did say we do need volunteers for to come and assist. 2nd grade will be attending their annual field trip provided by OCPS to see the Nutcracker on the 19th. And our final day of school for the 2023 year will end on Friday, December 22nd, where not only will it be house lunch day, it will also be our pajama day. And I do want to make sure we bring up pajama day because it's very important that your navigators do not come to school in slippers. They do still need to be wearing shoes because safety, and we want to make sure our navigators stay safe. Any questions, comments? This is a reserved time, open forum to field any questions from community members, stakeholders.
I'm gonna say something because I always do. Listen, I appreciate you guys so much. I know that we have a lighter crew than we normally do. But listen, I get it, right? Like, we're all busy. So we're probably going through more intense stuff this year than we ever have, and just trying to get these bylaws right so that we know that we're in a place to go through this process as best as we can. So appreciate everybody's patience and attention to detail. Like, we've asked some really good questions. Staff and community members, thank you so much. So, man, appreciate this time. And our next meeting is December 20th, right?
Yep, next meeting is Wednesday, December 20th, where we are going to be hearing the preliminary ballot suggestions from the Faculty Advisory Committee. So it is important that all of our voting members are there. Because like we said, we want this to be the smoothest process where hopefully everybody is happy. We want to include everybody. We want to keep our school a happy place, a happy working environment between our colleagues. So please make sure you're here for our checks and balance system.
All right, guys. I'm gonna motion to adjourn this meeting.
A second.
All right, let's go. Let's have a great day. Thanks, guys. Thanks for